Can you imagine a society where when young men really struggle and are in their darkest times, that we know how to help them, we know how to identify when they're really calling out for help. I grew up in a household where I saw my parents really struggle, and they had a goal of just giving their children the best life possible because they didn't necessarily get that themselves. And I think that for me was an early introduction to what disadvantage is or what privilege is in life. I remember being a teenager and seeing every night on the news, we were just being bombarded with all these negative news stories about young men. We had stories about young men being hooligans and graffiti on trains and getting up to no good, and what was shown in the media was not my experience of young men, like my mates. They were generally good people that just really struggled and didn't have the tools or the skills to help get themselves out of the situations that they were in. I really wanted to find a way to profile young men who are doing amazing stuff. So we're standing here at Stanwell Tops, which is north of Wollongong, Illawarra, which is where I grew up, and this is where I used to come and look at the Illawarra community as a whole and think what would be possible, how we can help young men as a collective, as a whole, and as a community. Blokes Foundation delivers mentoring programs and gives young men access to positive role models so that they can get guidance and support when they're facing the most challenging times. We really help young men to build confidence, to not be bystanders, but to be upstanders, particularly if it's safe to do so. So being able to influence and reduce cyberbullying or bullying among their friends, or being able to call out their mates, or being able to reach out to their mate who might be struggling. And that's the power of mentoring, is helping them be guided along that process, because it's tough to be a teenager these days. What I love about getting out on the court is sometimes you go on there with a game plan, but you realise just how quick the game moves and how sometimes you have to be agile and you even have to pivot. And those are the skills that I've had to learn in starting and growing Blokes Foundation. We are always having to adapt. If we had to narrow down the one biggest challenge that young men need to overcome, it would be self-belief. If they have self-belief, from there comes self-worth, and then they'll want to hopefully live their best lives and live healthy lives and safe lives, and they'll look out for their mates as well. And it all starts from that core of having self-belief. Maybe we could actually have a society where the suicide rates aren't as high as they are and young men aren't struggling as much as they're struggling. I'm really passionate and determined and won't take no for an answer, and I'll always keep striving and working hard to get to that end goal of helping young men lead healthy and safe lives.